The Richardson family's annual dinner was always a showcase of opulence and subtle rivalries, but this year felt different. I sat at the far end of Loom Blanche's finest table, watching my siblings parade their latest acquisitions like proud peacocks. And that's when I told them $50 million for the Hampton summer house was my final offer, my sister Catherine announced, adjusting her Cartier bracelet. The view alone justifies it. My turn, my brother James said, swirling his $800 wine. My firm just closed on that downtown property. Another $100 million added to the portfolio. Mother shone at the head of the table, her diamonds sparkling in the chandelier light. Father barely glanced up, likely checking stocks even during dinner. And then there was me, Sarah Richardson, the youngest, dressed in a modest black gown from last season, wearing only my grandmother's pearl necklace. The disappointment, who had left Richardson Investment Group 5 years ago to find herself. Sarah, darling, Catherine said, feigning concern, that dress, department store? Let her be, Kath, James said, smirking. Not everyone buys Chanel. Some of us choose independence. He emphasized independence as if it were a disease. And your little, what's it called? Mother frowned. Your consulting thing? Investment advisory, I corrected softly. It's going very well. Of course, Catherine sneered behind her hand. That explains the tiny Brooklyn apartment. The waiter approached, professional and neutral. Dessert menu, anyone? One of everything, James declared. And another Chateau Lafite Rothschild 1982. He glanced at me. Don't worry about the bill, little sister. Times are hard, we know. Yes, Catherine added, smiling with intent. She can't even pay for dinner. The waiter shifted uneasily. I reached into my simple purse and pulled out my wallet. Actually, I said quietly, placing a sleek black card on the table, I'll take care of it. Pierre, charge it to the owner's account. Recognition flashed in his eyes. Of course, Miss Richardson. Catherine's fork clattered. Owner's account? What is she saying? I slid my phone across the table, showing a headline that wouldn't officially go public until morning. I just acquired Lume's own group. All 37 restaurants nationwide. A stunned silence fell over the table. Even Father paused his stock checking. That's impossible, James stammered. 2.4 billion, I said, finishing for him. The deal closed this afternoon. Mother's wine froze midair. But, how? Remember the consulting firm you mocked? I smiled. Quiet success is still success. While you flaunted summer homes and charity events, I was building something bigger. Catherine grabbed my phone, trembling, smudging the screen as she read. Loom Group acquired by Shadow Valley Capital, Sarah Richardson emerges as major force in luxury hospitality. Shadow Valley Capital? Father's voice was sharp. That's the firm snapping up luxury brands across Europe. Among other ventures, I nodded, sipping water. We operate quietly. Less attention, better deals. James scrolled frantically on his phone. This can't be, Shadow Valley is worth $12 billion. As of today, I confirmed. Although after tomorrow's announcements, it'll probably be closer to 15, I said calmly. Mother's complexion turned ghostly. But all these years, coming to dinners in those old dresses, driving that car. A Tesla Model S isn't exactly cheap, Mother, I corrected, smiling faintly. Just subtle. Success doesn't need to shout. Pierre returned, carrying a sleek leather folder. Your card, Miss Richardson. Also, Mr. Chin asked if you'll be inspecting the kitchens this evening. Not tonight, Pierre. But please let Edward know I'll be there tomorrow to go over renovation plans. Edward Chin. Catherine's voice climbed an octave. The celebrity chef? He works for you? All 37 executive chefs report to me now, I said evenly, along with roughly 12,000 other staff members across the group. Father didn't lift his gaze from his phone, scrolling through market updates. Shadow Valley, they acquired that tech startup last month. And the luxury hotel chain in Asia, I added. The private airline. Several other acquisitions we haven't announced yet. James slammed his phone down hard enough to rattle the crystal. Why didn't you ever tell us? Tell you what? I asked with calm precision. That while you were flaunting $100 million deals, I was quietly closing billion-dollar ones. That my little consulting firm turned into one of the fastest-growing investment companies in the country? But, you live in Brooklyn, Catherine said as if that were some cosmic injustice. I own the building, I said lightly. And several others nearby. Real estate is smart investing, James. He winced. And those charity galas you've mocked me for skipping? I continued. I've been busy creating educational foundations and building hospitals in developing countries. Real impact, not just photo ops for the tabloids. Mother's hand trembled as she reached for her wine glass. Darling, if we'd known. You would have treated me differently, I finished for her. Exactly why I never told you. I wanted to see who you truly are. I gestured around the restaurant. These places, these restaurants, they're about experiences, memories, enjoyment. But you've been too busy flaunting your wealth to remember what that feels like. Pierre appeared again. Ms. Richardson, Mr. Rothschild is on the line from Paris regarding the European expansion. Tell him I'll return the call in an hour, I said, then faced my stunned family. Speaking of Europe. Catherine, that summer house you overpaid for? It's on land I'm turning into a luxury resort. We'll need that property. Catherine sputtered, spilling some wine. You can't. I already have, I said quietly. The eminent domain paperwork clears next week. Don't worry, you'll be compensated fairly. Around 30 million, I believe. Not 50, but you did overpay. The dessert cart arrived, ornate pastries left untouched in the tense silence. Father had loosened his tie, a sight I'd never witnessed publicly. Mother's gaze flitted between me and the article still open on my phone, trying to reconcile the two versions of Sarah Richardson. I don't understand, James muttered finally. Why keep up this charade? Why let us think you were struggling? I picked up a small chocolate soufflé. Because money exposes character, dear brother, whether having it or thinking others don't. That's not fair, Catherine mumbled. Not fair? I raised an eyebrow. Let's see. In the last hour alone, you mocked my clothes, my apartment, my career, my ability to pay for dinner, all while parading your own wealth as if it makes you superior. We were just teasing. No, I interrupted sharply. You were cruel. Because you could be. In your world, money equals worth. I took a deliberate bite of the soufflé. Delicious. Pierre, consider this motivation for a raise. Pierre, still standing nearby, allowed a faint smile. The thing about old money, I continued, is how it breeds complacency and lazy thinking. You all assumed that when I left Richardson Investment Group I'd left success behind, I said. You never considered I might be stepping towards something far bigger. Father cleared his throat. Shadow Valley's approach, quiet buyouts, a focus on prestige brands, that's not the playbook you taught us. I nodded. No press releases, no gloating until the ink is dry. Just patient, purposeful growth. My phone vibrated with another message from my execs. Excuse me, I said, checking it and smiling. Perfect timing, the London deal just closed. London? Mother's voice almost vanished. Yes. I tapped a reply. A small hotel group, the one you always book when you shop there. I bought it. Catherine's color drained. The Royalton Group? That's the crown jewel hotel chain in Europe. It is. I set the phone down. We'll be refurbishing the penthouse you favor. Don't worry, you'll get a good room. Family rate, naturally. James looked like he was about to keel over. But all this time, at dinner, the showboating, we thought. We learned a lot about people, I finished for him. Nothing reveals someone's true nature like letting them assume superiority. Mother dabbed at her eyes with her napkin. We've behaved terribly. Yes, you have. I replied evenly. But that's not why I'm bringing this up now. Why, then? Father asked. I leaned back and studied them. Because tomorrow Shadow Valley goes public. It's slated to be the year's biggest IPO. I let the word sit between us. And I own 82%. Father did the math on his face and went white. That would make you the wealthiest Richardson by a long shot. It would, I confirmed. And it means our family rules are changing. Changing? Catherine's voice was small. For starters, those weekly dinners where you compete over purchases will be replaced by monthly board meetings for charitable initiatives. Attendance is mandatory if you want to keep your trust funds. You can't, those trusts are ironclad, James protested. Not after I acquired the bank that manages them, I replied. Turns out 12 billion buys you a lot of leverage. Mother clutched her throat. Sarah, please. I'm not cutting anyone off, I said softly. That would stoop to your level. Instead, I'm teaching you what real wealth can do. I motioned to Pierre, who had a slim leather portfolio in hand. Inside are the details for the Sarah Richardson Foundation. Its mission, education and healthcare for underserved communities worldwide. Each of you will have an active role in running it. Active? Catherine said, horrified. No more writing checks for cameras? No more token gestures, I said. You'll meet beneficiaries, see the impact, do the work. Father looked at me with new interest. You planned all this after you left? I planned to thrive, I corrected. Teaching you humility is just a side effect. My phone buzzed again. That'll be Tokyo. I stood, smoothing the modest dress I'd worn to blend in. Pierre, make sure my family gets whatever desserts they want, and send a few chocolate soufflés to my office tomorrow. Certainly, Miss Richardson. I picked up my simple purse, then paused. Oh, one more thing. Next month's board meeting, skip the couture. We break ground on a hospital in Guatemala. Dress accordingly. As I turned to go, Catherine whispered, what just happened? I smiled. The sweetest victory isn't proving them wrong, it's making them better than they were. Even if you have to buy their cooperation to do it.